Mother with any sense of reality is going to say, I've got 6, I think I'll go have one more. What drove you, when you've got, you said having 1 is full time.
Right,
you just said that. You've got 6, and you say, I'm going to go have another one.
Well, we're going to find out what drove her, because Dr. Phil has made a career of spreading tough love and brutally honest advice, from the Octomom you just saw to the economy. He has plenty to pass along today. Please welcome Dr. Phil, our friend. With her, and you asked, we hear you asking the question, what drove you? What was her answer?
Well, she says that she had this emptiness inside that she just felt a need to fill because she didn't have siblings when she was younger. And my position on that is kids should not be born with a job. I mean, kids shouldn't be brought into the world with a job to fix your life, to fill you up. That's a wrong reason to have a child.
So you wouldn't subscribe to somebody who says, I want to have 2 children because I don't want my child to be alone. I wanted to have a sibling. Yes, which is what Sherry says.
There are right and wrong reasons to do that, and to not want to have an only child. If that's a philosophy, then you have to ask yourself several things. Number one, can you take care of this child? Can you provide for it mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, environmentally? And if you are struggling to feed 6 kids that you already have, you've got no job, you're on food stamps, you're getting assistance for 3 of the children that are disabled, you don't have the right to go have another child. You just don't have a right.
Okay, let's cut to the chase, as they say. These children have now been born. And there are those who are saying that maybe they should go into foster care, that for all the reasons you suggest, she won't be capable financially, emotionally, any other way. Should these children be taken from her and put into foster care?
Okay, first off, I think it's good public policy and good philosophy that we try to keep our children with their biological parents. I mean, that just makes common sense. I work a lot in the foster care system. Robin and I are national spokespersons for CASA, which is court-appointed special advocates for foster children. That system, in my opinion, is broken. When you say, everybody says, let's just put them in foster care. You don't understand. That system is overwhelmed. There aren't enough homes to put children in. Children that get into foster care sometimes are, I mean, a much higher incidence of getting beaten, abused, neglected, raped. I mean, there are all kinds of things that are going on. And there are so many wonderful and dedicated foster parents out there, but there are a lot who are not. That system doesn't have enough money. That you spend more money to kennel a poodle than a parent gets for a foster child in America. It's wrong. Well, I think what has to happen is we need to try to fix this situation in place. And listen, do I trust this woman to be able to handle 14 children and raise them with responsibility? No, I do not. But I think she can be taught. I think she can be trained. And I think if she puts those kids in the house, the whole front of it needs to be glass, and Child Protective Service and everybody else needs to be lined up on the front yard just looking to see what goes on. We have got to monitor this situation.
You have to say that about everybody who has more children than they can afford.
Dr. Phil,
wait a minute, right?
Well, that may be right, but
to single her out.
I don't think you do single her out. Like I say, we work on this every day of our lives. With the foster children that we focus on, and it is a problem. We need to monitor it, and that's one of the reasons the system is broken. There's not enough monitoring. The social workers, the case workers that handle these foster families, they may have 200 files on their desk.
I know.
They may have 200 files on their desk. They can't go see those children, so you don't know what's happening to them, and that's troubling to me.
Do you think if you had gotten to her before all this, were you the person who would maybe have talked her out of this? Do you think you could have done that? You got to her before?
I'd have died trying. I mean, if somebody has 6 kids and they're struggling like that, and they say, I'm going to go down and try to have even one more, I don't think she's trying to have 8. Right. But I think there was this bad, too much implantation, and which was way beyond the standards. It was reckless to even have one more, and I would have thrown myself in front of the car if I'd have known what she was doing, and I've told her that. And actually, I've spent more time with this woman off camera than I have on camera.
Saying what?
Well, I'm worried about the children. I'm worried about these 14 children. And not just the 8, the 14. And so I have spent time, because after when I interviewed her, I asked her a lot of hard questions and tried to visit the harsh reality on her to give her a wake-up call. And a few days later, she called and said,
about the hospital, right?
Right, because they have a responsibility. And I think anybody that has seen the footage of the house that she's in and knows the circumstances that are going on, I think they're concerned. And I think she's going to have to meet some requirements before the children.
Is she going to get them out of the hospital, though? What's the status on that?
Well, I think if they were all ready to come home today, she tells me that they would not release them to her if they were all ready today. But I think she has a chance to kind of fix some things between now and then.
So now you sat down with her. Who is this woman? What is her profile, in your opinion?
She's an intelligent woman. She is really quite intelligent, and she's fairly well educated. Her contact with reality is fleeting at best, in my opinion. I think she lives in kind of a fantasy world, and I think you know, she told me, and her publicist guy told me that after I interviewed her, she went home that night and cried for the first time since before she was pregnant, in a good way, I think, because I think it all came down on her. My God, I've got 14 kids coming.
Is this, I'm sorry, Sherry, is this possible that this is, what is it?
Post-traumatic?
Postpartum depression?
Postpartum depression, yeah.
I don't see signs of that at this point, but, you know, I've not evaluated her hormonally and all, but I think she just doesn't get it yet.
Did you give her specific advice?
Oh, yes, I did.
Can you tell us?
Yes. I mean, I've...
Tie your tubes.
You know, she swears to me that she will never seek to get pregnant again. But, you know...
Believe her?
I believe her.
What specific advice?
I do at this point. I think she's so overwhelmed now. I really do. But
tell us a specific advice.
My specific advice to her is that you need to wake up and recognize that you don't even almost have the ability, the resources, the housing, the money to handle these children. And you either need to rally the help and support necessary to do this, or you need to consider placing these children somewhere else permanently for adoption. I think she's got to do, think about it. If those children were released today, she's in a 1,500 square foot house with 6 children. It does not appear sanitary to me in any sense of the word. And you've got to step up and cause those things to come to pass. You've got to have, you know, Kate Goslin, who's Kate Plus 8 show on TLC. It was on our show back when all of this happened with her 6 children and 2 at home. She said that during the first year, they had 50 volunteers a week in and out of that house.
And that was how many kids?
And that was with 8, and 2 of them were like 5 or 6. Now you've got 14, 7 or younger. So you extrapolate that, you're going to have 80, 90 people a week. There's 64 feedings a day just for the 8.
And all those people are now then exposed to your kids.
So,
You don't know who everyone
you're
is.
saying she either somehow or other has to have that happen, or the very hard choice of maybe putting them up for adoption.
Well, she's either going to have to make that happen, or it's not going to be her choice. Because, I mean, there are responsibilities here. They're going to have to step in and do something. So she's either going to have to take the initiative and get this put together, or she's not going to have the children.
Tough choices. Well, we want you to stay around. We have other things to discuss. A lot of us on the panel, all of us were concerned about Rihanna. We want to hear about that. More from Dr. Phil when we come back.